Coming up on UT 10 News, seniors are ready to graduate, but are all of them locked into jobs?
And we also look into a kids' television show produced by 4 COCA classes.
Plus, Tatiana Cunningham was at Scott Park as the Rockets took on Kent State on Senior Day. Your news in 10 minutes starts now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angelique Baird.
And I'm Devan Lutz. Is UT paying for 2 different college presidents' homes? Former President Lloyd Jacobs and his family have until June 30th before UT stops paying for the Levis House, while Dr. Sharon Gaber will be moving into the new presidential home on Forestvale in mid-June. The UT Foundation hopes to sell the Levis House for $835,000 once the Jacobs have moved.
Was it more prudent to be able to look within the marketplace, within a short drive of campus, to find a home that made sense for the office of president?
Proceeds from the Levis House sale will go towards the $900,000 spent to buy the new house. Around 1.8 million students in the U.S. will graduate with a bachelor's degree this spring. Katie Karakis looked into how UT students will be affected by the competition.
The University of Toledo is granting over 1,500 bachelor's degrees to the graduating class of 2015 in May. According to a study conducted at Rutgers University, less than half of these graduates will receive a job within a year. Graduating students are projected to depart from UT with a deficit of $20,000 to $30,000.
There's a lot of people that are graduating and it takes them at least a year to find a job in the industry that they got their degree in.
To prepare students for the competitive job market, the Career Services Office is located in the Student Union, room 1533. Their team stresses the importance of a unique and current resume, online career profiles such as LinkedIn or Celio, and clean social media accounts.
If your social media isn't cleaned up and professionalized, 1 out of 3 employers refuse a person.
I'm Katie Karakis, reporting for UT 10 News.
Thanks, Katie. UT music students have been performing shows over the last few weeks. Reporter Mark Woobert listened to these talented students hit some high notes.
At the end of every spring semester, juniors and seniors prepare themselves for a performance being held at the Center for Performing Arts. Students perform in different fields that range to vocal, jazz instrumental, and classical instrumental. Depending on the year, over 30 recitals could be held over 2 weeks. Music performance majors are required by their curriculum to perform 2 recitals, one their junior year and one their senior year in order to graduate.
That's put in place by our accreditation organization, which is the National Association of Schools in Music. So to have a nationally accredited music program, we are required as part of our curriculum to have students perform recitals.
Students put in many hours of practice to go along with their other classes and work schedule.
I find it's not always that easy to put in 2 hours every day. So I try to, but I don't always get 2 hours in.
With many hours spent in the practice room, these musicians really know how to play to their audience. I'm Mark Woodward for UT 10 News.
Thanks, Mark. 4 UT classes are collaborating on a project to be aired on public television. The Departments of Communication, Art, Theater, and Film dedicated their spring semester to creating a children's show. Students will perform, produce, shoot, and edit a show that raises awareness about harmful farming practices. Puppeteer Erica Frank, instructor John Ida Miller, and professors Holly Hay and Barry Whitaker are leading the project.
Being fans of fresh and local sustainable type practices, the professors and I sort of came up with the idea of there being a worm, you know, that eats dirt because it starts right from the soil.
Tilly the Time-Traveling Earthworm will air on WGTE in the fall. Local artists brought life back into an unused building with the 6th Art-O-Matic. This year it was at the former Lamson's department store in downtown Toledo. There were 3 floors full of art for sale, prices ranging from $5 to $1,000. Hundreds of performing, literary, and visual artists participated in the show. The Arts Commission spent countless hours cleaning and prepping the building for the event.
Art-O-Matic 419 is a showcase of our community's talent. It's a showcase of our community's passion. It's over 400 artists coming together to celebrate art.
The event wrapped up on the 24th, and an estimated 12,000 people showed up over 3 Saturdays. We thought it would be fun to end on a historical note this semester, so reporter and my co-anchor, Devan Lutz, looked into the university's patriotic history.
In 1943, the University of Toledo was contracted to offer war training programs for the military. On March 8th, the 27th Detachment of the Army Air Corps arrived on campus. They were housed in the field house, which was transformed into an Army barracks.
The young men were brought here, they lived in the field house, and they took academic classes at the University of Toledo. They learned to fly aircraft locally, and then they were sent overseas to assist with the war efforts.
World War II took its toll on the university as most of the male students were drafted, and many who were not still ended up enlisting. Several university administrators and faculty members also left for the war. With most of the players sent into combat, the university was forced to discontinue the football team in 1942. Rocket football returned to UT 4 years later in 1946. With a scarce amount of men on campus, the women of UT stepped into positions of power for the first time to keep the university operating. Not only did the Toledo women take care of the university, but they sold war bonds, and many even ended up overseas after completing cadet nurse training at UT. The University of Toledo was the first university in the country to organize an on-campus chapter of the American Red Cross. Due to the ever-looming threats of war, the Red Cross ran weekly drills to teach students how to react in the event of an enemy attack.
They would practice these air raid drills where when you heard the siren, you would immediately turn off all the lights and you would go to one of these areas that were supposed to be safe zones in case bombs were dropped.
The U.S. Department of Defense stocked the university's underground utility tunnels with emergency survival supplies, which still remain there today as a reminder of UT's heroic past. While students today are worried about exams, students during World War II and the Cold War were worried about air raids. These underground tunnels on campus were designated as a fallout shelter in case of an emergency. I'm Devan Lutz reporting for UT 10 News.
It was a weekend spent on the diamond in Toledo sports. The Rocket baseball team went on the road to play Ball State, and the softball team battled Kent State. But first, the Mudheads closed out almost a whole week at home by hosting Indianapolis in a weekend series. After falling to the Indians 4-3 on Friday, the Mudheads were back at it on Saturday. In the second inning, Manny Pena had a strong double, bringing 2 runners to give Toledo an early lead. But Indy would answer the call in the next inning with this hit from Tony Sanchez, on their way to 4 runs in the inning. Tyler Collins helped in the 6th with this double, but Toledo fell 9-3 for their 4th straight loss this season.
I think early in the year, to start off the year, every time we lost, we got shut out. And we're not getting shut out now, but we're not putting enough runs on the board.
The Hens would snap that streak on Sunday, beating the Indians 6-0. It was a rough Sunday back on campus. The Toledo softball team went up against Kent State for their senior day game at Scott Park. The Rockets fought hard to keep the Golden Flashes off the board as they get this out on first base. They closed the 4th inning with an out as Chandler Rice catches this hit from Kent's Erica Rausch. The ball is just out of reach for Samantha Showalter, and Kent's Kim Kirkpatrick takes second here. The Flashes remain strong, getting 2 runs from Maddie Grimm's hit in the 5th inning. Chandler gets a hit and makes it to first, but it's not enough as the Rockets fall to the Flashes 5-0.
I mean, it's not the outcome that we wanted, obviously, but we're always fighting and trying to win at the end. I mean, I'm proud of the girls, the seniors. It's a sad day, but I don't know, it's exciting playing with them on this field one last time.
The Rockets will travel to Fort Wayne, Indiana on Thursday to battle IPFW. The Rockets baseball team claimed victory at Sunday's doubleheader against Ball State. Toledo's Stephen Calhoun pitched strong in the first game, striking out 9 Cardinals. Ball State could only get 1 run in the bottom of the 9th, falling to the Rockets 6-1. The winning continued in the second game, with A.J. Montoya and Matt Henson getting 3 hits. The Rockets take Game 2 for the sweep, winning 8-3.
Thanks, Tatiana. That's it for UT 10 News.
Before we go, we'd like to take a moment to congratulate our seniors graduating this spring. Reporters Andrew Kurtz, Faith Atkins, and Katie Karakas, and our director, Brandon Carnes. For Devan Lutz, Tatiana Cunningham, and all of our crew, I'm Angelique Baird. Have a great summer and stay tuned for more news from the UT campus in the fall.